We are back with another episode, and I probably sound very serene because I've just been in such a sweet, sweet space today. Like a sweet space. I'm just grateful to the Lord just for this space that He's had me in, and that He's teaching me to abide in more and more. And as I was in His presence, just dwelling and taking in all that He was giving, it was impressed upon my heart to encourage this episode. That's it, just simply encourage for the person who's felt unseen, who's felt unheard, who's felt overlooked for so long, ignored. Just to encourage and to bring hope, like hope to the helpless. And I I think there's no better time to do it than from being in the space of being affirmed and assured myself of what the Lord has done for me. And so, like I say, every episode, the things that I've shared personally about my own life, my own personal struggles, the things that eat me alive from the inside out, this has been one of them. Not being seen, not being heard, feeling overlooked, feeling as if I was always the background object. And this is not to say that I'm not a servant, I don't want to serve, that I need to be seen at all times. This is not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying for that person who's made being in the background their identity, that if their name is never spoken, that if they're never seen, that even if people want to acknowledge you, you're so used to living in the back that you don't even recognize the value in what He has placed inside of you, and just how much He sees you. So this episode may not be as long as the other episodes, but I just want to go straight into the word with it, because I can only give you guys, I'm only here to give you guys what has been given unto me. I can't, I don't want to sit here and make up words on my own cute little quotes, and I don't want to make up those things. I literally want to give you guys what has been healing me, what has been restoring me, and that's simply the word. And it took a while, and I'm grateful that even as God has given me Raw Roundtable, the evolution of Raw Roundtable, though wording and things of that nature may have changed, the base is still the same. The idea of being ready and willing can go so deep and into so many areas, to share your truth, to share where you are, and for you guys to see that here I am, ready and willing. Not only am I ready and willing to share the truth of my life, I'm here to share the truth that is now my life. Like the word that has very, very well rewired and is rewiring my mind, my heart. Everything within me is changing because of this truth. And I have shown myself and showed up open and ready, and willing just to receive all that He speaks into me, so therefore I can be all that He's desired me to be. So yeah, we're gonna hop right in. I feel like I'm using my hands a lot, but yeah, hopefully you guys get my drift. I'm gonna just read Psalms 139. Some of you guys may be familiar with it, but you might not. So I never want to assume that somebody has heard something and maybe they haven't. So this is your first time hearing this. Even if it's not, I want you to listen closely. Let this episode be what you're attentive to. Like, if you use my podcast as background noise, I'm not pointing any fingers, not that I know anybody who does that, but I ask that you just listen to this. I ask that you take the time to see you the way He sees you. That's it. That's all I'm asking. For however long this might be, I'm asking that you just take this time to hear what He has to say. And even if I speak after what I read, you can stop listening after that. I'll give you permission to do that. But I want you to listen to the things that He is saying. Because like I said, it's done so much for me. So for me to not share it, for the hope of it restoring somebody else or bringing light to someone else's life, I'd be very just selfish, disrespectful, rude, you name it. So Psalms 139, it reads, "O Lord, you have examined my heart and know everything about me. You know when I sit down, or stand up. You know my thought, even when I'm far away." I want to read that again because I stumbled a little bit. "O Lord, you have examined my heart and know everything about me. You know when I sit down or stand up. You know my thoughts even when I'm far away." Even when I'm far away. You notice that it didn't say when you know my thoughts when you're far, because he's never far. He's always close. It's always been us. We're always the problem. If you don't get any other message out of the Bible, out of anything you read, we're always the problem. We're the problem. You know my thoughts even when I'm far away. You see me when I travel and when I rest at home. You know everything I do. You know what I'm going to say even before I say it. Like, what is it like to have someone that in tune with you? That in tune. You know what I'm going to say even before I say it, even before I think it. You know it. Like, talk about in sync, like Jinx. How'd you know I was going to say that? Like, wow. You go before me and follow me. So that means he's before and behind. You place your hand of blessing on my head. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too great for me to understand. And I think I did this in one of the posts that I wrote for my God Says before, talking about wonder. I think when we look at the word wonderful, we're like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's splendid. It makes me happy, joyous. But to break down the word means wonder and full of wonder. You read it backwards, it's exactly what it means. Full of wonder. Like, such knowledge is too wonderful for me. Even I can't grasp everything that I'm going to say and do before I do it, but you do. And for you to know that, for you to know your ways and thoughts, for you to just be able to balance all things in your hands, like it's so wonderful. I stand in awe and I'm amazed that you're able to even do this for me and towards me. It's for me and towards me. I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. If I go up to heaven, you are there. And if I go down to the grave, you are there. If I ride the wings of the morning, if I dwell by the farthest oceans, even there your hand will guide me and your strength will support me. I think this is just so powerful because I think I'm not sure, I'm not going to speak from a place of knowing where this comes from in David's testimony and story, but to see that David is talking about even the times, I think even in those few verses, that he's tried to escape, that he's tried to go to speak to something, kind of means you've already tried. Like, I can never escape from your spirit. The time that he's tried to get out of the will of God or tried to go far from God, he couldn't even run away. He couldn't even go far because God was just that close at all time. He never separated himself to be so far from David because David was his child. He chose David. He was a man after God's own heart. So no matter how far David tried to go, no matter even the farthest ocean, he couldn't go anywhere from the Spirit of God. He couldn't go anywhere from the Spirit of God. And so I just, that brings awe. Verse 11 reads, I could ask the darkness to hide me and the light around me to become night. But even in darkness, I cannot hide from you. To you, the night shines as bright as day. Darkness and light are the same to you. What I attempt to conceal, it is revealed to you. What I attempt to hide about me, what I attempt to cover up because people haven't liked it about me, or people have made comments, people have talked about me about certain things. What I attempt to hide, You reveal. Even the things that I think I'm hiding well, your light still shines on. You see me in those areas. You see me in my most anxious moments. You see me when I'm in my bed crying at night, crying myself to sleep because of lack of acceptance I've received or lack of applause I've received from men. Like, you see me in those moments. You see me when I feel like I'm at my wit's end, when I feel like I want to give up, when I remember when I felt like I didn't want to be here anymore. God constantly reminded me of how much he loved me and how much he still had plans for me when I didn't want to be here anymore, when I didn't think I even had the strength to make it another day, when I felt like even if my life was not here on this earth anymore, what would it matter? He met me there. He literally met me there. And I'll probably have to tell this testimony, but I'm getting emotional thinking about it because I know the mindsets and the thought processes that I've had that have led me down deep, dark rabbit holes. The time where I wanted to isolate myself, that I could have tried to call separation, that I could have tried to call whatever I wanted to call it to make it sound spiritual. But I know the places that I wanted myself in because I felt that no one seen me. But it was in those darkest moments that God met me most. I kid you not. Like, it wasn't until all the noise was gone, when it was just me and my feelings, that God showed me. He led me to scripture like this to show me how much he loves me and how much he cares about me. And so to read that I could ask darkness to hide me, I could ask that I just don't go anywhere, that people leave me alone, that I turn on do not disturb, and I don't want anybody to bother me. But even in the darkness, I can't hide from him. He sees me. He sees me just as I am. Verse 13 says, "You made all the delicate inner parts of my body. You knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." And something that I've even come to learn, that I even was reminded of today, I was watching a sermon by Stephanie Gretzinger. Ugh. And she was talking about just how amazing it is to like get up in the morning and go and watch the sunrise. Like, we don't recognize the beauty. I think she came from Psalms 19. I don't want to quote the wrong scripture, but it was talking about the sun in comparison of God's creation, his workmanship, comparing that to even us as his creation, as that which belongs to him. And so to see us compared to the very other things he created is like, just how well is everything he's already made? How well do I already know it? How many times have I seen it? I mean, I'm not an early bird, but how many times I've seen it plenty. Have I seen the sunrise? Have I seen the sunset? Have I seen the way the trees and waves and wind like just obey and are still when he says be still, and they move and they go when he says move and go? Like, how well do I know it? Even if I can't see it in me, how well do I know it? How much easier is it for me to point out the beauty and the glory in others that he's created and made, but so hard for myself? If I know it and I can identify it in everything around me, he says and sees the same things about me. And it leaves me speechless every single time. Every single time. Verse 15 says, "You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. And I wrote in my Bible, you've always seen me for who I was. Like, you've watched me be informed in utter seclusion. Like, before I was even the whole process, I won't get all gory on here. Um, before all of that happened, whatever happened in the bedroom, before all that happened, he's seen me for who I always was. He didn't say like, oh yeah, she's gonna make sure I have to hang out on this person or to be who I called her to be. No, he's seen me for who he called me to be, especially when my focus was only him. As long as your focus is me, the one who made you and created you, I'll show you how to walk out what I always had planned for you. I'll show you how to do that. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. He already knows what's going to happen. Like, to worry, to put my trust and faith in man, to consume myself in saying, how will this happen? How will this go about? It's pointless. It's worthless. It doesn't make sense. Like, I think I said it last episode when I was talking about Paul, like, when he thinks about just what Jesus has done, what Christ has done, everything else is worthless. We discard it. It's garbage. Like, he knows it. So why am I wasting my time consumed in making other things and people idols? Making them be Lord over my life, letting them make the decisions of where I'll go, how this will happen, how this will happen. I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. How precious are your thoughts about me, oh God. They cannot be numbered. You think such good things about me. Such good things. Like, such good. And my job, we do this thing with the kids. It's like good choices and bad choices. And for anybody who's close to me in my church family, they already know how this goes because I use good choices and bad choices outside of work now. Like, you need to make a good choice. And he thinks such good things. Like, he sees the Kiana that makes only good choices. When the Kiana that I know does not always make good choices. I make bad choices. But he sees the good about me. He thinks such good things about me. And so every lie, everything that has tried to be spoken over my life, everything that has placed me below the means of living as a child of God, as someone who could inherit his promises, anything that has been spoken in that sense, I have to come against. I have to come against because he doesn't even see me like that. He doesn't even speak to me like that. So for me to feel unseen and unheard and to be put down and diminished and like suppressed in what I need to express and the things that I feel that God has given me to speak and the things that he's given me to do. If I feel those things, how much more am I obligated to question them, to question if it's something that I'm supposed to be in, if it's the season for it anymore? Like, that should be my duty. That if anything is causing me to belittle and not think the things of God about myself, the things that he says and thinks about me, the good things that he thinks about me, for him seeing for me for who I always was, and just always seeing me, informing me in such an intricate way, for me to question the things that he says about me, I should be questioning the environment, not him. I shouldn't be asking, well, they say I'm this, God, so what does this mean? I should be saying, God, they said I'm this, and you said and you never said that I was that. So where do you actually want me? Or where do you need me? Or where are you calling me to step up in faith or in more boldness and courage to speak the things of you and the things that you actually say? So yeah, I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And when I wake up, you are still with me. He's not a friend that you had a one good night, you got that memory that's just forever ingrained in your mind. Even when I go to sleep and wake up, he's still there. His ear is still there. I think I was reading Psalms 27. One of my friends in the Bible app, Josh, she was highlighting, and I just went to read it today, and it was literally talking about, it said, and you say, I want to say it says you say, come and talk to me. and I respond and say, Lord, I'm coming. His ear's always been there. Like, this is not a friend that you gotta play catch up with. Like, oh my gosh, we need to catch up. His ear was always there. It's either our backs were turned. Like I said, that we're always the problem. It's either our backs were turned, our mouth was busy running to someone who could not do anything about the situation, or simply the end all be all is that we we just didn't acknowledge him as Lord yet. We didn't even see him as somebody who could possibly listen to us or care about anything that we're saying or anything that we're doing. We've never viewed him as that. Oh God, if only you would destroy the wicked. Get out of my life, you murderers. They blaspheme you. Your enemies misuse your name. Oh Lord, shouldn't I hate those who hate you? Shouldn't I despise those who oppose you? Yes, I hate them with total hatred, for your enemies are my enemies. When you come to find a friend like God, when you read all of this, verses 1 through 18, and you see just how much he sees you, how much he recognizes every intricate detail about you, you come to think of everything that has tried to come against the very things he says about you. Jesus, I never even looked at that like that. Like, if only you would destroy the wicked, get out of my life, you murderers. Everything that has tried to kill you, even with words of saying what you are and you really weren't it. Everything that has tried to put you in a place of living below your, I can't force that enough, living below your means, making you submit to things that ultimately weren't God or weren't even of God, but because you've always felt so belittled, it was your default. Like, I have to submit, I have to do what they tell me to do, I have to do this. Like, get out of my life, you murderers. Anything that misuses the name of the Lord, which means anything that he says, anybody who comes to flip these words that he's saying, that he speaks, like, I hate you. I mean, that sounds rude to say, but it's like, shouldn't I hate those that you hate? Like, the very things that you hate, the very things that come against your name and that come up against you and your will and your way. Like, I should hate those things too. And when I hear it, like, it should spark something in me. Like, it should make me feel some type of way, because why are we speaking things that aren't him? Or why are we putting his name to things that aren't him? I should be offended, because what are you doing? I'm start flipping tables like Jesus. Because why aren't you speaking what he says? Why are you putting his name where it doesn't belong? Yeah. Yeah. We getting real bold out here, because I've finally seen the one who sees me. I'll wrap it up with that. But the last part of this says, search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life. I wrote this too, that I don't want to offend him in this relationship. Like, I've seen all that you see about me. I've begun to digest, like, actually swallow. I mean, I was tasting here and there of the Lord's goodness, but I wasn't digesting it. I wasn't allowing it to feel and bring me the nutrients, bring me the satisfaction, the fulfillment that it actually could. I was afraid to, because I lived my life away so long that didn't require him. Then now now that I finally see the requirement of him, I don't want to offend him. I don't want to be in a place of still telling myself, like, I'm scared, I can't do that. I don't know if I can do it. Like, I don't want to be in that mindset anymore. If he called me to it, if he's giving me a command to do something, like, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be, I remember even the smallest thing, I used to be afraid to lift my hands in worship, like, to say things like, hallelujah, thank you. I'll be afraid to do that stuff. And like, now I can't imagine not doing it. Like, I feel weird when I can't, or like, people around me, like, it's just like a dead atmosphere. Because if we're blessing the name of the Lord, if we have the command to bless the Lord, oh my soul, like that's what I'm gonna do. Like I don't want to offend him so bad that anything his word says that I read and it's like, whoa, that conviction comes, like I gotta follow it. I gotta follow it. I gotta be obedient because what are we doing now? Now that you know, you need to not act like you slow. Okay, I lost my place, but yeah, heavy on that. Heavy on that. But I think it's important, even the whole know my anxious thoughts, like the whole idea that, wow, they might not like this about me, or like, wow, I'm stepping into a new realm of being okay with you being the only person that sees me the way that I wanted to be seen, or the way I want to be. I'm okay with you being the only one of that. So test me and know the anxious thoughts. Like, I'm asking you to try me, refine me by the fire, like clean my hands, purify my heart. Like, I want whatever I offer to you to be acceptable because you've always been the one who's been there. Like, I want to serve you. I want to serve you with everything. So do what you need to do. Point out these things. Know my heart. Like, know my heart, because whatever flows out of it, like whatever flows out of my mouth is what's in here. So I want whatever flows out of here to be you. So this needs to be pure. This needs to be right. And so I'm in such a, I would say, an intimate space with God because I'm recognizing just how much he's been all that I need. Like, all that I need. Any transformation that I've ever wanted to undergo and do, he's been all that I need. And as promised, like I said, I was going to go back to Genesis just to like say this to you. I remember my little sister Monique was telling me about this scripture. She was going through Genesis, and I've just seen it just so frequently, and it ministered to me even when she was telling me. Like, I wasn't even reading Genesis, and I'm like, dang. But this was I've, of course, after God promised Abraham and his wife to have a son. It's like they were trying to do things on their own timing. And so it says that so Sarah, I'll just say Sarah, I won't say Sarai. I think that's how you say it, Sarai and Abram, but Sarai, I'll say Sarah. So Sarah took Hagar, the Egyptian servant, and gave her to Abraham as a wife. Like, she did this. This was her own will and her own way. And so as Hagar is just submitting and doing the things that Sarah wants her to do, like, I'm your servant, so you command me to do this, I'm gonna do this. I'm just like, this is how it should be with God. But she was her servant, so she just listened. Abram had sexual relationships with Hagar, and she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her mistress with contempt. Then Sarai said to Abraham, "This is all your fault. I put my servant into your arms, and now that she's pregnant, she treats me with contempt. The Lord will show who's wrong, you or me." Abraham, look, she is your servant. Abraham replied, "Look, she is your servant, so deal with her as you see fit." Then Sarah treated Hagar so harshly that she finally ran away. Man will command you to do something and claim to do all this, like, and be about it until they recognize they're in the wrong. Then it's on you. And that's the thing about serving man. We're so wish-washy, we're so up and down, we're so left and right. And so when she finally ran away, the angel of the Lord found Hagar beside a spring of water in the wilderness along the road to Shur. The angel said to her, "Hagar, Sarai's servant, where have you come from? Where have you come from, and where are you going?" "I'm running away from my mistress, Sarai," she replied. The angel of the Lord said to her, "Run to your mistress and submit to her authority." Return to your mistress and submit to her authority. And then he added, "I will give you more descendants than you can count." And the angel also said, "You are now pregnant. You will give birth to a son. You are to name him Ishmael, which means God hears. For the Lord has heard your cry of distress." He's always been there. "You'll give birth to a son." He gave her the name, which means God hears. He hears you. He sees you. All these things. Like, this story is just pew. "And the Lord has heard your cry of distress. This son of yours will be a wild man, as untamed as a wild donkey. He will raise his fist against everyone, and everyone will be against him. Yes, he will live in open hostility against all his relatives." Therefore, Hagar used another name to refer to the Lord who had spoken to her. This is where the epiphany happens, and this is what has happened in my own life. If I may testify on here today. She said, "You are the God who sees me." She also said, have I truly seen the one who sees me? And so that well was named Bir Lahai. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. I'm probably butchering that all the way. I did not look it up before I read this, which means well of the living one who sees me. And so I just think that's so beautiful. She was able to open her eyes to say, have I finally and now seen the one who sees me? He's always been seeing you. The question is, are you seeing him see you? And once you finally recognize that he's seen you as you are all along, that he's never desired to alter a bit of your personality or anything. Like, he uses all things. We look at the story of Saul into Paul. He uses all things, the things that Paul was doing, that Saul was doing to Christians. Like, he used that boldness and authority and that passion, that vigor to very well cause Paul to lead a whole bunch of people to Christ, thousands. And so it's not a matter of if I'm even worth God seeing. It's how can I possibly change my viewpoint, my vantage point to see, like, dang, he's always been the one seeing me. Always. And when you live from that place, you begin the bondage and the stronghold. That's what I'm looking for. The stronghold of pleasing other people, that fear of rejection, all of that like decimates, because you recognize he sees me and that's all I need. He's the one who formed me. And so because he's the only one who sees me, because he's the only one who knows what he has planned, the things that are going to matter, things that are going to be eternal, everlasting, I'm okay with him being the only one who does. If nobody else ever does, I'm okay with him being it. And that's been just a piece and a part of my journey of being freed from the hands of people and what they want me to do and how they want me to do it. And so I'm just grateful I was able to get on here and share that. Yeah, I didn't want to hold anything back in that, because I believe that there's so many people desiring to live in that freedom. And I really just hope that even what I read, that you're able to go back and meditate. I don't know if I said the scripture is Genesis 16, and I just kind of read the whole thing, but the God who sees me part is in verse 13. But just to go back and meditate on those things, because it's not a matter of you not feeling these feelings. They're real. You feel like, I just want this person to look at me like this and do this and do this. But it doesn't matter. And we gotta focus on the things that matter. This is where the heavenly perspective comes in. This is why this is heavenly therapy here. Because it doesn't matter. And I'm here to just be the vessel to be used to let you know that what does matter is available to you. There's nothing hindering it. And the only thing that can hinder it is you. So stop hindering it and run towards it and for it. So thank you guys for watching this episode. I'm just happy that you're here with Raw Roundtable, and that you're here for the long haul, that we're here for the ride. And we can't wait to see what God is going to do, the place he's going to take us, per usual. Do all that good stuff. Make sure you stay in the loop. Share with a friend this time. Share with a friend. You know somebody who might need this. Please share with a friend. I mean, even right now, as you listen to the end, share with a friend. But yeah, I don't have nothing else. I'll see y'all next episode. I love y'all so much. And bye-bye.